Hey guys. So, it really isn't my normal kind of video. I know I really don't do discussion videos. I usually talk about music, and this will be my first sports related video ever. And I will have more coming out in the future because I also do love sports. I've been a sports fanatic my entire life. But the sport of football, as you can see, I got my Super Bowl 60 hat on. I bought this when I was in San Francisco, staying over in San Francisco when I was going to Hawaii this past year. And as you guys know, for those of you who are football fans and football fanatics, the Seattle Seahawks made the Super Bowl for the first time in a decade. So, of course, they won the Super Bowl back in 2014. I still remember that game like it was yesterday. Patriots played the Seahawks. Legion of Boom was the best defense in all of football for an entire decade with, of course, Bobby Wagner, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, to name some of the big dogs on that defense. And, they led the charge. And now here we are a decade later, and the Seahawks are right back in it. So, I grew up a Bears fan, right? At least from, I was born in Chicago. I'm from Chicago. And I grew up a Bears fan. And I remember the day that I gave up on them. It was 2013. It was the end of the 2013 season. Jay Cutler was still the Bears quarterback at the time. And of course, those 2010 teams in the 2010s, had Brian Urlacher, Peanut Tillman, Matt Forte, Brandon Marshall, Jay Cutler, of course. And I just was tired of losing, tired of rooting for a team that I knew would never win. The big game, that is, because the Bears haven't won since '86. I wasn't even alive yet. And I wanted to root for a winner. And my grandparents were diehard Green Bay Packers fans. So this is where it gets interesting. When I go over to their house and watch football and would sit on the couch with my grandfather, he influenced me greatly to become a Packers fan. I still have my Packers blanket, and I still have my Packers jersey, which I'll show you what that looks like. Where's it at? A.J. Dillon. He's not on the team anymore, but I got that jersey. I also have a Dak Prescott jersey. I did have an Amari Cooper jersey when he played for the Raiders. My other grandfather was a Raiders fan, so he sent me a Raiders hat one year and a Raiders jersey. Amari Cooper, when Amari Cooper played for the Raiders. And so I was kind of caught between rooting for Grandpa's team or Grandpa's team, if you get what I'm saying. Because one was a Raiders fan, one was a Packers fan. My brother, love him to death, but he's a Patriots fan. He's been a Patriots fan his entire life. Why he chose the Patriots most likely has to do with Tom Brady and him being the greatest quarterback of all time. And that man, I'll say it because I'm not afraid to say it, Tom Brady ruined me as a football fan. He owns the entire NFL. Owns the Falcons, Super Bowl 51. Owns Seattle. But of course, Seattle has a chance to take revenge this year. Tom Brady owns everybody. He owns all 32 teams. And he's also part owner, literally part owner of the Raiders. So he owns all 32 teams on the football field when he plays. And then as a businessman, he owns the Raiders. Partially, but still. And, my dad, when he was a kid, at least from what he told me, he grew up a Steelers and Packers fan. He doesn't really have a team anymore. He just likes to watch a good football game. And my uncle, one of my uncles and my cousins, Alex and Thena, they my cousin Alex is a 49ers fan, diehard 49ers fan, loves them. And my cousin Athena is a Chiefs fan, diehard Chiefs fan. And so, everyone in my family, has their teams and stuff, but all of them, have their teams and have stuck with them since day one and never switched up on them. Me, on the other hand, I know I'm kind of outing myself here, but I've bailed on every team that I've ever rooted for, and I don't know why. I don't know what caused me to jump ship and root for a different team. The bandwagoning got so bad that I tried to go the method of, all right, whoever is in the Super Bowl, I pick one of those teams and go with it, right? That's kind of the cheating way to do it. Yeah, pick the world champion, right? The other way, right, is to pick a team due to family origin, like with my grandfather's Packers or Raiders, maybe go that route. Or do your own research, look at all 32 teams, and pick a team that way, right? And so in Super Bowl 51, I wanted the Falcons to win, right? And we all know how that turned out. I still have nightmares about that game, just as a football fan and sports fan in general. Greatest comeback in Super Bowl history by Tom fucking Brady. As a football player, like Tom Brady as a guy and as a businessman and all that, right? Great guy. Seems like a nice guy. As a broadcaster, he does a great job broadcasting, in my opinion. But as a football player, oh my God, I hate the guy. Despise him. As an NFL quarterback, I despise Tom Brady. Okay? 60 years. Well, this book was written when there was only 50 Super Bowls. But 60 Super Bowls in, and Tom Brady has all of them. Almost all of them. 7 to be exact. 6 with the Patriots, of course, and then 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 49ers have 5. The Cowboys have 5. The Dolphins, I think they have 2. The Steelers have 5. But you get the idea. And I don't know what happened. I don't know. I try and ask myself this question and find myself an answer every season. Why am I rooting for this team? What's my reason for supporting this team? What's my reason for supporting this team or this team or this team? I don't know. I know at least during the regular season, anytime the Patriots are playing, I will always root for the team playing against the Patriots during that game for that week. That's always going to be the case because I hate the Patriots. So at least I know I will never root for the Patriots. But with everyone else, and I will never root for the Browns either. Patriots and Browns, I will never root for those teams ever. Some people who watch this video might be surprised as to how I've never rooted for the Browns when I've almost rooted for the entire league, which is insane to think about. But yeah, I picked the Steelers for this year in the playoffs. I thought Aaron Rodgers could win another Super Bowl and then retire. I really thought he was going to go all the way with Tomlin and the Steelers. And I picked the Steelers I thought about picking the Steelers because, well, my dad used to root for them, and he doesn't have a team anymore. But, so that's why I bought Steelers hats and was supporting the Steelers through the playoffs and through the regular season. Seattle, I remember the Super Bowl where they won 43-8. They played the Broncos. And one of my all-time favorite players, and he's always been one of my favorite players, Marshawn Lynch. He's in my top 10 running backs all time, if not top 5. I love Marshawn Lynch. He's one of my all-time favorites. And of course, he played his entire career at the Seattle Seahawks. So you would think I'd pick the Seattle Seahawks, right? They went to back-to-back Super Bowls, are going to the Super Bowl this year with Sam Darnold. And Marshawn Lynch is one of my all-time favorite players. I love Marshawn Lynch. I love Russell Wilson. The Legion of Boom is one of my favorite defenses ever. Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner. So you would think, right? You would think I'd be Seattle forever. You would think I'd be a diehard Seattle Seahawks fan after ditching Chicago and ditching the Bears and riding with blue and green all day, every day. Nope, that didn't happen. And I kind of regret, not sticking with them. Because let's be honest, Seattle's been one of the, consistent teams over the years, for decades. It's either Seattle, New England, Denver, or, if we're talking about OG teams, or the fucking Packers, So, yeah, you would think I'd pick Seattle. And be ride or die for them. I explained the situation with the Steelers. The Saints always loved Drew Brees. Who doesn't love Drew Brees? I mean, just as a football fan, who doesn't love Drew Brees, right? But, of course, he doesn't play for them anymore. But hey, in Madden 11, oh yeah, I picked the Saints every single time in Madden 11. Are you kidding me? Of course. Flinging the rock with Drew Brees in Madden 11. Best years of my life. Madden 11 is my all-time favorite Madden. That and Madden 13. Madden 11 and Madden 13 will always be my favorite Maddens ever. And I liked Madden 15, when Richard Sherman graced the cover. That was a good Madden in my opinion. So those are probably my top 3 Maddens. If you want to know my favorite Madden titles, but, I didn't stick with the Saints either. Cowboys. I mean, what hasn't been said about the Cowboys already that hasn't been said to death about them? And I regret this one too. The memes, the rap songs, the parody songs that keep coming out, the history, all the superstar players, right? Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, And, but, you know, I mean, you could only reminisce on the glory days so often, you know what I mean? Michael Irving, of course, you know. But, I mean, fuck, none of those players play anymore. They're all old. And the Cowboys will never be like they were. And that was 30 years ago. You know, and so I just try and figure out, you know, that day in 2013, right? Yeah, ditching the Bears, leaving the Bears behind, being done with them, right? Okay, valid decision. I think a lot of people in 2013 were like, yeah, fuck the Bears. They're never going to be good again. They're going to be a mediocrity franchise like a lot of franchises are, and, you know, out of 32 teams. And I try and, whenever someone asks me who my favorite team is, I don't know what to tell them, because I'm like, oh, I just like to watch a good game. I don't really have a team. When in reality I do. I'm just scared to tell people who the team is, because if I tell them it's Atlanta, then Patriots fans are just gonna tell me, be like, so how does that 28-3 feel? And I'm just gonna be like, fuck you. Right? Or if I pick Seattle, yes, they made it back to the Super Bowl, but Patriots fans can still clown Seattle fans and be like, so why didn't you run it on the goal line with Marshawn Lynch? So with both Bird teams, you got 28-3 comeback and choking the biggest Super Bowl lead ever, and then you have not running it on the fucking 1-yard line. Still mad about that too. I'm still mad about this one too, believe me. Just from like a football fan perspective, like, and standpoint, like, yeah. These Super Bowls make me fucking mad. And if the offensive coordinator fucking calls pass on the 1-yard line again, don't pass it on the 1-yard line. Don't do it. Okay, I'm getting fired up now. We got 2 weeks. Let me save my energy for the Super Bowl. All right. So yeah, 20-3. If I pick the Falcons, not running it on the 1-yard line. If I pick Seattle, those moments in NFL history are cemented forever, and are in the nightmares of Seattle and Atlanta fans forever. And I just, you know, and I go through my book and I look at the scores of each Super Bowl, and I read and I look at the history and I look at who played on those teams, and I'm like, yeah, had some pretty good teams back in the day. All right. And yeah, it just kind of spiraled, man. I just kind of spiraled, and, you know, I'll always have a love for football and a passion for football, and every time football season comes around, I'll get fired up and excited and be like, all right, let's see how it turns out this year. But the one thing I have never been able to say since 2013, because that was the last time I was able to, is say these words. My team's going to do well this year. My team's going to make the playoffs. My team's going to go to the Super Bowl. My team's going to win the Super Bowl. I haven't been able to say that for over a decade. Actually, over 2 decades now. I don't know where I went wrong. During the Super Bowl with the 49ers and Ravens, when the Ravens won it all, I was rooting for the 49ers. I wanted them to win that game. And I remember that game because I threw a Super Bowl party that year. School was canceled the next day because of a snowstorm. So we got a snow day on top of it being Super Bowl Sunday. So that was the greatest, long weekend of my lifetime. And Ravens and 49ers were in the Super Bowl. Colin Kaepernick, of course, was the quarterback for the 49ers during that Super Bowl run. And I remember that season, right, that year in 2013. Like, ...2012 season came to a close. February 2013, Super Bowl was happening. And it was 49ers Ravens. And I bought a San Francisco 49ers hat from when I went on my trip with my grandparents to San Francisco. It was a very fun trip. And I was wearing my San Francisco, well, actually, it might have been just a San Francisco hat. I don't think it was a 49ers hat, but it was San Francisco colors, 49ers colors. I remember that. And I wore it on the plane home. But I didn't pick the 49ers either as my team. And I don't know. So, will I ever find a team again? I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that my family is just kind of over it. They're sick of it. My brother's like, pick a team, man. My cousin, Alex, he's like, pick a team, man. I'm like, great. So I got a diehard Patriots fan. I got a diehard San Francisco 49ers fan. And I'm just like, fuck, man. Where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong, man? Because, and I grew up a White Sox fan. I know this isn't football, but, this is baseball related, but, I grew up a White Sox fan. Die hard. And I remember I became a White Sox fan because of my uncle, one of my uncles, who's still a diehard White Sox fan to this day. My Uncle Bill. And I became a White Sox fan because of him. And I was a diehard White Sox fan. And one day, just like how I said I had enough of the Bears, I said I had enough of the White Sox. I'm tired of rooting for this garbage franchise that's never going to win anything. And for some reason, I mean, I'm a Yankees fan now, and I'm happy with my decision. I'm all good. But I picked the Reds for some reason. I think it had something to do with one of their players that I was a fan of. But the Reds haven't won anything since 1990. And yeah, so then I picked the Yankees. And I know everybody says that, Yankees is mainstream. Everybody picks the Yankees. The Yankees is a fashion statement. It's a brand. They have more World Series than anyone. Yeah, that's true. That they do. They have the most World Series. And they almost made it to 28. But I picked the Yankees because yeah, you can say, oh, you picked them because of their history, and you picked them because they're the, biggest baseball franchise ever, and they have the most wins. They're the New England Patriots of baseball, which, yes, they are. That is undeniable that they are. And, yeah. But Yankees, I somehow figured it out, right? With baseball, I figured it out. I picked the Yankees, and I said, that's where I'm at. And that's where I've been at, and that's where I'm going to continue to be, right? Easy. It sounds so simple. Pick a new team, stick with that new team, right? And so I picked the Yankees. Yankees forever. That I decided a long time ago. And, I was a Blackhawks fan, and my I have a new team for hockey, too. I like the Utah Mammoth. I think they're, I think they'll be a good franchise. They're young. They're new. They're fresh. I know they used to be the Arizona Coyotes, but so, I picked them as my hockey team. And, so yeah. Somehow I got hockey figured out and baseball figured out. But, I even have a old Arizona Coyotes jersey. It's one of those fan ones with no names on the back, but, that's basically my Utah Mammoth jersey. At least until I can get an official one. But yeah, figured out baseball, figured out hockey, and for the life of me, I can't figure out football. The sport that I love more than anything, the sport that I watch the most, the sport that I follow religiously year-round, literally follow this year-round, regular season, off-season, postseason, preseason, free agency, the draft, follow all the trades, follow all the news, I follow everything NFL. I see what all 32 teams are doing. But for the life of me, I can't pick a fucking team. I don't know why. And I think that's part of the reason why I bought this Super Bowl hat. Because it's the Super Bowl. It's no designated team. You know, you can wear this hat all year round, and it's, you know. Whereas, you know, all of these is, you know, different teams and, you know, just don't know where to go. But, you know, the one thing I can say is at least that I've stayed within the NFC for most of my life. The only AFC teams that I've ever rooted for are the Steelers and the Jaguars. Outside of that, you know, I don't really care about the AFC too much. I'm more of an NFC guy. So, I can at least say that I've stuck with a division, you know, between the NFC and AFC. I can say that much. But yeah. So during the Super Bowl, 2 weeks from now, you know, I might wear this hat during the game, or I might wear my Seahawks hat. I haven't really made a decision as to which one I'm going to wear yet. But, you know, I'm not sure. But as far as the team that I can call my team, I don't know. That is still a question that is unanswered. I mean, I bought a gaming chair. And look at my gaming chair. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But yeah. Fucking New Orleans. I should have just bought a regular gaming chair. That's what I should have done. Because a gaming chair is for gaming. That's all it's really supposed to be used for. I mean, yeah, I got a matching hat to go with it, but I'm not even a fucking Saints fan. I don't know what I am anymore. And this all stemmed from 2013 and how that season ended and how the Bears just were an absolute dumpster fire that year. But somehow, in 2025, the Bears made the playoffs. In 2018, the Bears made the playoffs. In 2010, the Bears made the playoffs. The Bears made it to the Super Bowl twice in my lifetime, beating the Patriots in '86. How crazy is that that's the team that they beat? And then went back to the Super Bowl and played the Colts and got manhandled by Peyton Manning. And that would have been, if I remember right, that was the 06 season. And then it was February 2007. I'm pretty sure. right? I mean, I got my book. I could always check, but I want to make sure, at least before I end this video, I want to make sure I got that right, that it was 2007. Oh, would you look at that? Opened up right to the page that I needed to be on. Yep, I was right. 2006 season, February 2007, on February 4th. And the Bears got absolutely manhandled by Peyton Manning and the Colts. 29-17 to be exact. And they never made a Super Bowl again. They've come close, but choked in the playoffs. So, yeah. I've rooted for the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Saints, the Falcons, the Seahawks. I was pulling for the Panthers in Super Bowl 50, and we all know how that ended. The Broncos won. Because I was a Cam Newton fan. So, yeah. That's my story as an NFL fan. This is my confession, if you want to call it that. I don't know where I went wrong. I just wish I had a team to call my own. I can root for whoever I want, but for some reason, Tom Brady makes that very difficult. And the Patriots make that very difficult. So, yeah. We'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know what you guys think. Down in the comments below, let me know who your NFL team is, who you're a fan of, who are some of your favorite players in the NFL, current or past players. Let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Made this one for my sports fans. More videos are on the way. See you guys next time. I'm gonna get absolutely fucking trolled in the comments. But hey, that's the price that I pay for being the way that I am when it comes to this sport. Have a good night.